Ça m'a manqué, ouais. Je l'ai fait en 2019, je me suis éclaté, c'était une super aventure et je suis très content d'être là parmi toute l'équipe.
Super content de repartir. Oui.
Vive l'Afrique Race.
On espère avoir un super rallye avec un super temps et des super concurrents.
So I'm super happy, I'm super excited.
Tout m'a manqué sur l'Africa Race. Le Sahara en premier lieu, la convivialité et la solidarité, tout ce qu'on a perdu depuis 2-3 ans avec ces années Covid, quoi.
Je suis super heureuse d'être sur l'Africa Race.
Et vive l'Afrique Race.
They've waited almost 3 years for this, to be once again on this iconic African route for this new edition of the Africa Eco Race, the 14th, the only remaining rally raid in the world that passes through multiple African countries. Heading up this extraordinary adventure since its infancy, an adventurer at heart, Jean-Louis Schlesser, who despite the pandemic has always held the course to allow these lovers of the great outdoors to satisfy their desire for adventure and escape. The Africa Eco Race is a cure for us. For 2 years we've been without it. It's for this reason that we've arranged the race for October. It is above all instinctive for us. We want to take our competitors to a place that no tour operator can access. For us it's about the sharing, pushing ourselves. As you know, we're bivouac to bivouac. There are no ties. Finally, in short, it's a real adventure.
Enfin bref, c'est la vraie aventure.
This desire to ensure that no matter the cost, the adventure continues. Following in the footsteps of Thierry Sabine in the pure tradition of rally raids, the organisers have always stayed the course without ever giving up. Competitors obtained their first reward during the technical and admin checks, which took place in Menton for the 5th year. For 48 hours, an ever-growing crowd came to admire these modern knights and their lovingly prepared steeds. Their vehicles have been prepared with intense care in this bivouac installed on the shores of the Mediterranean. And what a pleasure for Jean-Louis Schlesser and his team to find the MD team amongst the cars this year. Faithful to the Africa race, they are here with 2 Olympus vehicles because they too have been missing the desert.
Ça fait quand même 2-3 ans qu'on est pris.
It has been 2 to 3 years that we've been deprived. We are very happy to return to the tracks of this historic rally and rediscover these distant lands that we have been missing for the last 2 years. We're very happy to return, above all, to a legendary rally like the Africa Race. Really, it's a pure joy.
C'est un bonheur pur.
Sticking with 4 wheels, the SSVs are present and correct, ready for this new edition of the race, which promises to be once again an extraordinary experience. Filled with adventure, lovers of such traditional rallies like Loy Fribourg will once again be aboard as Can-Am.
On attend ça depuis 2 ans et demi là.
We waited for 2.5 years with all the cancellations. We leave with Frank every 2 years in the same vehicle as in 2020. It was a good success in 2020. We are happy to see everyone again, the people we meet at rallies. It is a passion. We're super happy to be here today. Speaking of fidelity, let's move on to Thomas Tomczak. 12 races with 3 victories for the Czech and his crew in 2011, 12 and 14. Now reaching for a 4th victory, he will be going it alone this time in his Tatra, hoping to make it into the history books in this, the real rally to Dakar.
Well, this is the real race to Dakar, and the finish is near Lac Rose in Dakar, in capital of the Senegal. That's important for me. I like that this is like a the value is like a classic rally. It's coming from past, and the organizer is coming. It's a big star of all the rallies from Dakar, and I admire it, and I would like to support this event because this is I love this event, and it's very nice for me, for my heart, and I like it. I love it. It's
The Africa Eco Race is one big family, and once again its members return. Paul Anders Ulvaster is here once again at the head of a strong and diverse field. The Norwegian will have his work cut out for him to stay ahead of the game and win a 3rd time, because Yamaha have arrived on form with the official Yamaha Italy team, headed up by Alessandro Botturi and Paul Taras.
The hope for this race is that I can finish the race, come into Dakar and have a good experience. And I hope also to have a good fight. Maybe I can fight for the podium, I don't know, but I will try.
And next, sticking with those on two wheels, it would be remiss of us not to mention those riders registered with Motul Extreme Rider, who will have the additional challenge of maintaining their own motorbikes. Life in the Africa Eco Race requires a can-do approach. Competitors embrace the event and all of the opportunities and challenges that it presents.
Ce sont des chevaliers des temps modernes.
These are knights of modern times. They are explorers at heart, here for an adventure with a common goal, to arrive at Dakar, unassisted, helped only by themselves. The only real assistance that they will have is logistical support from a team of 8 dedicated people and 3 trucks. We've developed a system with Motul. It is for this reason that the category has been known since 2020 as the Motul Extreme Rider. We had 17 riders in 2020, and for this new edition, 30. Thus, the bet has paid off, and it's really the bike category that is taking off. For the 6th time and the second at night, the start was held at Monaco in front of the iconic Pierre-Antoine I at the famous Stars and Bar. Dear to its late founder, Kate Powers, the venue has hosted a plethora of motorsports heroes. Monaco is a mecca of motorsport, with the legendary F1 Grand Prix and the no less notable Monte Carlo Rally in the World Rally Championships. In terms of goosebump-invoking sports events, it remains unsurpassed. It reminds me of when I was a boy watching Jean-Louis Schlesser when he was doing the Dakar. It made us dream. When we were children, it was a wonderful diversion. I find that these are people that are generous, always civil, sincere. Of course, there is the race. Undoubtedly, there is competition, there is self-improvement. But I find it goes further than this. I find that there is a sense of altruism that reigns over all in this race. Once the competitors had passed under the arch, all that remained was to travel the 378 kilometers to reach Sète, on the south coast of France, and board the ferry, destined for Nado in Morocco. On the program, 36 hours of crossing with 2 nights on board and, of course, the traditional briefing held by Jean-Louis Schlesser. Rallying, a sport that combines individual performance and mutual aid with the aim of going as far as possible. When you stop, and this is extremely important, for an injured person on the road, do not hesitate to stop and help. Your time will be paused. Do not worry about that. We are here to help, and we ask you to do the same. It is very important. So please, you'll be given the time back. Do not lose your position if you stop for a biker who's got a problem. There is only one thing left to review, the route. As usual, it will be a mixed compilation of the best stages from previous years and 2 loops in Mauritania. To coordinate all this, you need an expert in the field, and it comes in the form of Manfred Croix. This year, the sporting director has also provided the competitors with a nice surprise. We have one special stage in Senegal that has never been done before and that counts towards the classification. There is a section of 60 kilometers that will be timed and that might shake up the classification a bit because it's a special that won't be easy, with lots of navigation, some complicated riding in the Senegalese steppes. And now to Dakar for a great adventure of a little more than 6,000 kilometers, including 4,700 of special stages on the African tracks. This is the program so celebrated by all the participants. And it was on the morning of October 18th that the caravan arrived at the port of Nador in Morocco. As usual, the customs and arrival staff were on point and highly efficient. The welcome was warm and everything went smoothly. And before getting down to the matter in hand, the competitors were able to enjoy the first light of the sun over a breakfast arranged by the local authorities. Everyone was raring to go and the adventure begins immediately, a first special of 94 kilometers between Taurit and Al Atef. And on this first day, there was a rider that was not expecting to take first place that stepped onto the top of the podium. Maurizio Turini went far, overtaking 20 bikes to reach the first place. He too had found the navigation challenging and was as surprised as anyone to find himself front of the pack. I am very happy. There were a lot of complications in the navigation. It was not easy. There was a lot of dust. I left with start number 142, but I'm happy. There were a lot of stones today, and I hope that tomorrow it'll be more sandy, but I'm happy for the first day. It's perfect. In this ranking on the first day, and thus also the general, the Brit Robbie Wallace finished 6th. On the podium in 3rd place and first of the Motor Extreme riders, Javier Flick. The Slovakian Stefan Svitko is 2nd, 1 minute 4 behind the winner of the day, Italian Maurizio Gerini. In the cars, trucks and SSVs, it was David Gerard who rose up the ranks fastest in his Optimus. For David and his teammate Pascal Delacour, it was time to restart the machine and get back into rallying. Relive the sensation. It did not take them long. As for all, a few little problems with navigation were experienced on the day, but otherwise, it went well, but required them to remain vigilant.
Ouais, fallait bien rester dans ses notes.
We had to stick closely to the notes. The track wasn't visible due to the vegetation. We were able to keep going even when we were unsure. Finally, we made it. That's the main thing. It's done. As with the bikes, the classification of this stage is also that of the general. In the first 6, we find the SSVs, proof that they can compete in the T1. Rudy Folbrecht even made it into the podium just behind Philip Gosselin and David Gerard, who set the scratch. That's all for today. The competitors will now take 5 days to reach the Mauritanian border.